Hello. This is another video in which I'm going to just explore video recording and recording screencasts and maybe coding a little bit. And as usual, I want to go over the things that I want to keep my eye on during this recording, and with with this idea in mind that this will help me to stay focused and to move in the direction that I'd like to move, that I want to move. And so thing number one that I want to keep my eye on is going slow, is slowing down, is not rushing through this recording, not aiming to say a lot of words or as many words as I can, and aiming towards using fewer words to let my self to let in nonverbal experience and feelings to arise and sensations. So that's like focus. That's thing number one, is doing this slowly and letting sensations and feelings and words to come up. Thing number two is paying attention, staying connected with myself and my body and my emotional part and my thoughts. So staying connected with all these parts of me that occur, that happen, and exist, that they're going. And for sure, I will lose that connection many times throughout this recording, and I want to explore these places of losing my connection, losing that connection with myself, and what what happens exactly right before I lose connection, what precedes that uh, loss of connection, how do I experience it after I recover that connection. So exploration around the connection loss event, and training to get back to get in touch with myself, to get in touch with what is alive for me currently, and letting it to move, say, more freely, or however it wants to move through me. Thing number three is to thing number three is to pay attention or be aware, notice that I'm being recorded. Keep that in my awareness space, and to stay in touch with that I'm being recorded, that I'm not just sitting here as usual, without any camera rolling. So that. And thing number 4 is to explore being and doing whatever I'd like to, freely, moving here and there, like doing this or that. Like, how is it to move my head like this while being recorded? How is it to pay attention to my voice and to notice my hands moving like this? And how does it feel to what happens if I pause and just look directly at the camera like this without saying any words, like this? And how it feel to do some coding to describe my intentions, my goals, my actions while coding or performing some actions on my computer. So these are the main areas of focus, the main areas that I want to keep my eye on during this recording. And I also wanted to explore my enjoyment, what actually happens during this recording. How does the process look like? What do I like? What do I like? What do I enjoy about this at the moment? As I'm saying these words, as I'm seeing the microphone, this guy with my impromptu microphone holder, which I made from the camera bag that I have. How does it feel to say, to point it out? And it changed. Like, I felt different about doing this, and now I noticed that a little bit of warmth that has just appeared, that just appeared in my belly, and it moved towards my solar plexus. So what happens with my enjoyment? What things influence it? How does it flow? Is it more? Does it make it more? Do I enjoy it more if I slow down like this, and if I notice the camera, and if I notice the visceral sensations in my hands, and then what if I extend or look into the rest of my body? Does that increase that? Do I enjoy like that more or less? And I noticed that I enjoy it a little bit less because there are some unpleasant sensations in the rest of my body. And yes, that. It is how it is. And what else can I do? I can look away and give myself, if I give myself a little bit of freedom to look away from the camera, to look away from the camera and be able to be allowed to look to the right while being recorded, and look a little bit to the right and bottom or below the camera or above, or how is it like. I like this freedom. I like this increased freedom. It adds enjoyment more, and I notice that I start to be more playful, a little bit more playful with it, tasting different things, playing with different things. I change my voice. I don't know how to say this in English. And my voice became more alive, and I become more self-possessed, and that feels better. That I like. This is how I like how it feels. It feels. So allowing myself to notice things in this room, to move my hands like this, to notice things at the moment while I'm saying these. I like it more. And I want to return back to my body. I want to return back to my breath and notice it a little bit more, maybe even more, and notice that I am being recorded and I am being on camera, and I'm saying some words in English. And what I have noticed lately is that I feel less afraid of saying things incorrectly in English. But I will check it, test it. Even it seems that recording actual useful videos, programming videos, courses, and making mistakes in my speech looks way more palatable, way easier. Oh, I made a mistake. I'm not a native English speaker. Of course, I want to strive for making my videos as good as I can, to strive to make good videos to the level of my abilities, and even improve over time. Not even improve over time. I don't see how I wouldn't be able to improve over time if I do this thing over and over again. How it doesn't seem like a probable outcome or probable process. So I noticed I've noticed that I care, or I'm afraid of, or care less about making mistakes, about using wrong words or pronouncing words, pronouncing words incorrectly. That is something that I noticed. Cool. I wonder whether I want to code something. Well, I could experiment with it. That's for sure. That's that's what I can do, could do, can do. I'm also playing in my mind, my head, with the following observation. I have the gear that I have. It is a good gear. So this microphone costs like 200 euros, which is a pretty expensive microphone. But when I purchased it, it's this microphone is actually meant to be mounted on the camera that I'm recording with, and it's not a microphone meant to be to use for recording videos like this, for screencasts, for this talking head videos. So it's just, as you can see, it has like the USB sticks from the side, and this is not a convenient way of connecting USB. And also, if I mount this, if I use the mount that this microphone comes with, it's like a very weird mount that is supposed to what's that, to decrease, to dampen the amount of absorb. I like this. Yeah, absorb walking vibrations, but it's almost useless for recording these videos. But this red paint also, I don't like it. It's very noticeable. I don't want it. I would prefer it to be black, and it's harder to find because the microphone is mounted like this. It's harder to find a microphone stand that would make it like adjustable. And now I'm using this thing, this bag to hold the microphone. So it's not. So I'm sharing this because it's not that convenient to plug it in and just start recording on a daily basis. And which also is the case with this camera, because I specifically with the camera lens, it's a 50mm lens that this is a great lens, no problem with that, but the camera holder is right now, and the camera is almost around 2.5 or 3 meters away from me, so it's pretty far away, and that's great. I don't currently, with this specific video, it's not a problem because I'm sitting here on a couch, and the table is located like this, So with this, where the currently the table is, where I'm working from, it's not a big problem, but still, but I'm I'm gonna purchase a different table with like a height adjustable height, height. Oh yeah, right. Height a table that I can adjust its height, and I will not have as much space in front of me to put the camera like this. And it also is quite inconvenient to put this camera there on where it is currently, and then move it away, then to charge it, then to plug it into my laptop, then to plug it to the charging device, and I need to do it every time I want to record something. So, which would be a very good thing to be able to do on a daily basis. And I think, and based on what I've heard, making it as easy as possible to just like turn the camera on and start recording would be can increase the chances of me recording more and doing it more easily. To like, if I'm able to just start and stop recording very easily, that would might increase these chances, because I noticed that I have a little bit of like, I don't want to, I need to right now. There is something attractive in that. It looks like some sort of a ritual of right, ritual. I think it's ritual, but let's check it. Do I have my phone here? So it looks like a cool ritual that requires a certain amount of effort. Ritual, okay. That requires a certain amount of from me. Lately, I noticed that I started swallowing, or I started to swallow English syllables, some parts of words that I say. So, and I would want to train myself to be as clear and as well-rounded as possible in terms of words. So I have this thought that if I prepare the space around me so that I can start recording videos, these videos easier, and make it as easy as possible, then that would increase the amount of times that I start recording something and just sitting here and talking to the camera, for example, or recording an actual tutorial or to record that to record me playing some games, or just record more often, and that would be, I would like that. I would like to see myself recording more of these and practicing more with this. So I'm playing with that in my head, and I'm also, there is an opposing idea thing that, oh, I need to just to a true artist, a true like person that actually cares about this craft, doesn't need any fancy equipment, doesn't need any fancy installation. They just can um, do it with uh, with cheap stuff, things that available currently, and that I need to do it too. And I think that there's a lot of wisdom in it, and also making the process, removing friction from the process. Like how would it make it worse? I don't know. I don't follow that. So I'm I feel that I'm more inclined to actually to actually create a convenient setup for recording. That is that might be a good thing to do, and I'm almost there. But let's before I do any further exploration, I want to I want to return back to uh, I want to get in touch with my body, to get in touch with what I'm doing right now, my muscles, sensations inside my body, mm, and in my head is I notice how I started to think through how what could I do, like do I do like do what microphone holders do I use, and all the rest. Great. Let's see. I do have this code in front of me, and what I can do, I think, is I can just experiment with different things, just as I did with my perception. I can look at certain areas in the IDE, add code here and there, and whatever I want to do. There's so much. There are so many things here that I could experiment with and see how it is for me to describe it to do something. So, and I don't need necessarily to do a lot of coding for that. So I can just, for example, start by or describe what's on my screen, and proceed from that, and experiment with doing some actions and describing those. So, and also keeping an eye on what happens in my system when I do this. When I look at the screen, when I notice, when I keep in mind that uh, that I'm being recorded, and when I'm doing all this, and what is going on. Right now, I can notice certain changes in my body, even thinking about it. When I even just think about it, describe my intentions. I am not doing anything yet, but I can totally notice certain sensations in my legs, in my those parts of my legs that are opposite from the opposite side of the hamstrings. I don't remember the name the name. But in me, there is certain warmth. There is certain like, ooh, it's getting a little more not dangerous, spicy. Lately, I like this word spicy. Yeah. So what I have here, let's try this. What I have here is my IDE open, and the IDE is IntelliJ IDEA. I wonder what is the abbreviation. Why is it IDEA? IDEA. So I have my IDE open here, and the IDE is IntelliJ IDEA. And inside this IDE, I could, one of the things that I could do is like, I could start describing why I'm using IntelliJ IDEA. It's a good trail or direction to explore. I could go into that direction deep and far. I could go far into that direction, or I could be more superficial or succinct, or just to keep it short. So to describe it in a couple of sentences, what that would be like. Let's see. I'm using IntelliJ IDEA because for my main projects, I've been using PHP Storm from that same company, JetBrains. This is the IDE from that same company, and I've had the best experience with it among other IDEs or code editors. So the way it makes working on a project almost frictionless. So it removes as much friction as no, I don't like how I describe this. I wanted to say it moves, what I wanted to say is it removes as much friction as, or the most amount of frictions among other code editors and IDEs that I have used. So I find myself I like it, I used it. I am used to it. So I've been using it for years, since I don't actually remember since when I'm using it. I think since 2013, so more than 10 years. I've been using it, and I've had a great experience. I've had great experience with it. It's been great. I've tried using different tools like VS Code, for example. VS Code is free and pretty. Oh, I noticed that I lose that connection with myself. That I lost that connection, most of that connection with myself when I was describing my experience with IntelliJ IDEA. That is interesting. Great. So I'm using VS Code, but it feels like a cheap, way simpler alternative to IntelliJ IDEA. All this auto completion, all the data table, data grip plugin that for working with databases, the version control, integration, they're all great. Okay, so I'm using that IDE because it's great. Based on my experience, it's the best IDE that. Oh, this is cool. Okay, but it's the best IDE that you could possibly use as a developer. So this is what we're looking at and using here. Then what I could do is I could describe the layout this editor has, this ID has currently, and the layout is pretty simple. We have the what's that project, the project pane. How do we call this? Hide what? View to Windows project. The project window. Okay, let's call this the project window on the left, and the code editor on the right. So it's just a two pane setup, two panel setup, full screen toolbar. What I'm discovering here is that I don't know how to call this area of the editor and this area of the editor the generic name that I could call it. And what I also like is that that I see it as just a learning process. That, oh, I don't know how this area is called, and it is, first of all, it is okay. Second of all, like, I can learn how it is called, and from now on, and from that moment, use it to name it. But also, like, I don't know how I could say like two areas set up, or usually whatever. So it's not important. Like, it's not important at all. But it could be beneficial to learn it. So I'm liking it like right now when I'm going over whatever is on my screen and planning and trying to describe and experiment with what I'm describing here, and noticing things that I don't know how to name or how to put together, how to explain it. It looks like a great discovery process. It looks like something like tinkering with screen recording. Yeah. Which I like. And I also feel that I'm sharing it with you, so I'm not alone in this, and I'm thinking about these things, I'm exploring it, I'm like, oh, how do I call this? Oh, okay, I have a couple of ideas. How can I find out how to call this? Where to look? And then I'm thinking, okay, then what's next? Then what's next? And I like it, and I feel that you do not interrupt me. You're just present, and that is exactly what I need and like. and enjoy. I enjoy this. And there is so much more life and freedom in doing it like that, and learning and opportunities to it, not rigidity but fluidity in this. Cool. Let's finish this by discovering maybe something else. So a little ease. So what I also okay. So I stopped at this like, attempt of saying that I have a two pane layout or two areas layout with the project on the left and the code editor on the right. And this is actually my usual setup. This is how I work on these things. Sometimes I have my terminal at the bottom like this. Pretty often, I do have my terminal at the bottom like this, and I find myself using the embedded terminal 99% of the time. It's easy. It's easy to pull up, to pull in, pull up. It's easy to open. It's easy to open. It's embedded. It's just I like it. It feels like a part of this process. And okay, and using a like this terminal does not the default terminal that comes with the operating system. So it's like this Max terminal I used before the iTerm 2 application, and I noticed that I just come back to the embedded terminal pretty often. Okay, all this. So I described all this. How does it? Do I like it? I don't know. I'm not sure, but I do like it. Okay, so this is the setup, and this is my code, and I could go and explore the code, but let's just quickly create a variable. Like let's create a variable, and like I want to create not a simple variable, but but a variable that holds a structure that is more complex than just a string. So let's create a map that with string keys and integer values, and it'll be like for people. And look how the IDE gives us this hint that immediately that, oh, there's something wrong with this map, and this means that we haven't exported it. So imported it. So I just pressed Option Enter, the Option Enter shortcut, and IDE just imported it quickly and automatically. So now this is fine, and let's create a new. And map is just an interface, and I'd love to get into explaining what an interface is and thinking about how I could explain what an interface is, but at the moment I won't. But that looks like a cool thing to do. And also I just remembered that about the things that I wanted to focus on during this video, and one of the things is like staying connected or getting back to myself. And I just started doing it, slowing down and getting in touch with myself. So this is just an interface. It's not an implementation, and we want to instantiate an implementation, to create an instance of a class that implements the map data structure. So in our case, it will be a hash map. And we could get away with this because this, because what? Like this just tells the compiler that this hash map will have, I don't know how to say this, like I don't know how to describe this. It's generics, generic types, the same. So the instance of the hash map will have its generic types the same as we have in the type definition here, and no constructor arguments here. We're not passing any, and so now we have a fully instantiated map, which is a hash map of people and we could add some people. So people, let's add put, and I will use my name as its key, and my age, almost 36, is its value. But remember that in Java, this is an integer, but we're using a generic collection here, or connect collection, and we're using generics here. So this is not an integer. This is not a scale. It's not a scalar. What's that? How do you say it? Wait, 1 second. Scalar. It's not a scalar value. And this is a scalar value, this is not, and this is just, it expects us to pass here an object, but Java compiler is super smart, and what it does an out-of-boxing like this. It does this thing, and which under the hood, but IntelliJ just says unnecessary boxing. Cool, it's deprecated. Cool. So we could even do an optimization like this and hit with Option and Enter, and oh, value off. What about this? Okay, it's deprecated as well. Is it? Unnecessary boxing? Remove boxing. Cool. Let's notice that even here there's just this button, remove boxing, and we could get away with it like this. And now, after executing this line of code, our map will have a record with, or a key value pair with a string, DMA string, and 36 integer, and integer 36. I'm gonna finish this recording for today. Before I do this, I just want to get back to myself and notice that I am being recorded. Notice the camera. Notice the monitor, laptop. And my body, how I feel. That's it. It was interesting. It was interesting to explore deeper, thinking about code, explore more closely what I want to talk about, where I have difficulties explaining things, what things I would like to explain, how I would like to present my path forward and all that. It was great. It was really great. I really enjoyed it. So let's get back to it. Oh, and how do you like this voice? Because before that, I was doing it from um, tension in my throat, and now I'm doing it from a relaxed throat. So um, it feels more enjoyable again, and the voice is deeper. The voice is deeper. A very, very deep voice. My voice is so, so deep right now. As deep as the center of the earth. I would like to experiment with it after a night of good sleep, because I didn't have enough sleep today. So, but it looks interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, see you.